Okay. Thank you so much. So I do have half an hour for that, but we in Poland are not so strict with time, so it will be probably less. But I just want to talk to you a little bit about what this project is about. Why are you here, actually? Just maybe give less practical introduction and more set you into the mood, let's say. So, does it work? It does. So the PhD period that many of you are still in, we have, as I understand, some postdoctoral researchers, but the majority of our participants in general are PhD students. It is a quite special time, I would say, from my own experience at least. I'm pretty sure that my colleagues that are already past this time can relate as well. So obviously there's a chance to actually explore a certain topic, to deepen your knowledge, to take time and reflect on some issues that you may not ever have time to reflect on in such detail. So this is really great. There is this period of freedom. It is also a period, very social period, I would say, and this is the example of that as well. Conferences, academies, all those research trips, mobility, Erasmus programs, Horizon projects. This is an amazing time because of that as well. Here you can see a picture of me from 10 years ago almost, with two beautiful persons that I did my PhD with, and they are now my friends for life. And this is, I guess, something that a lot of you will experience or already experienced during your PhD studies as well. But yet this is not a period without any challenges, and I think this is also something that we can all relate to. There is a lot of tensions, a lot of challenges. It sometimes feels like a maze. One particular tension that I just gave you as an example, but there's more, is this tension between individual and the group work. Is at the same time it differs, obviously, from country to country, from institution to institution, but from a lot of times, the PhD is your individual effort. You are earning those 2 or 3 letters behind or after your name, depends on the language. You are proving yourself as an individual that is capable of doing research. But at the same time, this happens in a, again, very interesting social environment of your department, of your doctoral school, again, depending on your system. You have a lot of, you're participating in the relation with your supervisor, which is, a blessing and a curse probably at the same time. It is a difficult period also for that reason. And when you end your PhD and you move on, either to other research projects within the academia or outside the academia, it turns out that there is a very little of individual effort to be done there, and this is mostly group effort after, and not always PhD students and graduates are prepared for that. I know I wasn't. So, yeah, hello? All right. So again, some common challenges here, listed just as an example. Every of those challenges, I experienced those myself. So starting from practicalities, try to decipher the notes that my supervisor left on my thesis. It is a challenge. But except for that, obviously there is some pressure. There are deadlines in some countries more seriously treated than in other. There is a pressure on publishing. There is pressure on mobility. Different kinds of pressures. There is an uncertainty, as it is a fixed period after which you are aware that significant change in your life will occur, but very rarely someone knows how exactly his or her life would look like after the PhD. And even if you feel, it quite often turns out to be different. There is isolation for those of you working in a more individual way, maybe not having such supportive supervisors. There is, imposter syndrome that is quite common for many of us researchers. There is no equality in terms of support systems that we do have, both social support systems and institutional support systems. Here we are coming from at least, I think, 5 universities. Maybe even more, as I believe we collected our participants in Poland from more than 1 university, and Spain, I think, did the same. So there is at least 5 different institutional setups that you are doing your PhD with, dealing with, and they are very different in terms of support they provide. There is precarity, there is workload spillover. You're all probably familiar with that in your day-to-day struggle. And there is also something that is very much connected with the social aspect, so sometimes difficult, sometimes rewarding, but always quite challenging power dynamics within the universities, within departments. So one thing that I don't feel like I need to tell you that, you probably are aware of those, but if you're experiencing those challenges, it is not because of you as a person, PhD student, researcher. These are more structural patterns than individual problems. And this is something that we all, as a community of academics and non-academics working in research, we should address if we are trying to deal with the PhD education, as we are trying to do in METEOR program. So, I promised Terry that I will talk about myself a little bit more, and I want to do that for a moment. So I will please spare 5 minutes of your time, of your life, to listen about my path, as I think that could be, illustrate something, I would say. So when I said I understand a little bit what are your experiences, it's because obviously I did my PhD. I did it twice, partially because I like it so much, partially because I felt like I need that. So I do have 2 PhDs at the same university, so that was easier within the same, theoretically within the same system, even though they look totally different because of very particular individual departmental setups. So one is in law, and this one was first, and the other is in sociology. So the METEOR program is focused on your skills, transversal skills, so skills that you can actually use outside of the biggest challenge of your life currently, so writing your thesis. The PhD at the Faculty of Law, the Jagiellonian University, I would say taught me absolutely nothing that I can use, not even outside of the academia, but outside of the Faculty of Law of Jagiellonian University. It's a very particular set of skills, I would say. The program back then was not very much focused on transversal skills. I don't think that anybody actually paid any attention to that. But somehow as an experience, as something that I had to deal with, quite difficult, maybe not, difficult, very ambivalent relationship with my supervisor, difficulties dealing with the university administration. This made my second PhD easier. So maybe it was not the intended learning outcomes of the PhD, how to deal with the institutional struggles, but it was one of the learning outcomes. And then the second one was much easier. So this is a skill that someone can learn, writing PhDs, but as long as you are not aiming to be a ghostwriter, that's not a super useful skill. And then, speaking about this uncertainty, I was thinking what to do next. For some period, there was no prospects for the employment at the university for me. It is a quite common issue in Poland, and I believe in many other countries, when we have more PhD graduates than actual jobs at the academia, including the part-time jobs within projects. So I spent some time at the think tank, so private organization trying to do some educational research. difficult experience for many reasons, but mostly about individual differences with the founder. So I won't bore you with that. I came back to the university when the postdoc position opened that I can actually apply for. So I spent 3 years again at the university, different university, or University of Wrocław. When I did a project actually in, let's say, sociology of higher education, focused on PhD students in law. As we felt with my friend writing the grant proposal, that PhD students in law are quite peculiar because quite often they do it to improve their chances on the labor market, whilst PhDs in sociology, for example, they know that they have no chance on the labor market. So these are differences. Well, I spent 3 years there, and again, the project ended. So then the uncertainty, unfortunately, doesn't end when you end your PhD. As a postdoctoral researcher, after those 3 years, when project ended, nobody really cared. They just disbanded my email and forgot about me. So in the meantime, fortunately, I started my work at CASE, so the institution that coordinates METEOR project right now. We are an independent think tank, so we have no real founder now. There was a group of people that founded us more than 30 years ago. But right now we are an NGO doing research and consulting work, mostly research, I would say. My team is mostly focused on research grants. So we are doing exactly the same thing as research institutes within universities. And this is something that unveiled another layer of problems for me, as I saw that I thought that I was prepared after my PhD and also postdoc to do research work, but I was prepared only to do research work in a certain environment of the academia, and probably only Polish academia. So starting my work at the think tank was learning this stuff again from the scratch. But again, the PhD as an experience gave me something, I believe, that allowed me to learn quite quickly. So I would say that I am quite skeptical in terms of how Polish system taught transversal skills back before the reform, because there was quite a huge reform. So all of you, I guess, that are participating right now from Poland, you are already students after the reform from studying in doctoral schools. From what I know, it is much better, still not very good, but much better in that terms. But yeah, so this is about transversal skills, and this is also about reaching out and not limiting yourself to academia, to thinking about various career paths that include research. And this is also something that METEOR is about, to try to equip you as participants and also contribute to the debate that maybe allows other PhD students to be equipped with skills that will allow you to continue your research career, whatever you want it to be continued. In your country, in other country, at the academia, outside of the academia, doing meaningful research. So the project itself is a three-year project, 3 million euros budget. We will have almost 300 participants within the full participation mode, let's say, so people that will come to the academies like you. And also we hope for around 600 participants in online groups. Our focus, as I mentioned, is on transversal skills, and our consortium, we already had those institutions listed by Terry or Yo. So I will not repeat myself. Here is the picture of us from the kickoff. So here is the consortium. As you can see, the social aspect of research does not go away after PhD, so this is fun. It was a really good meeting a year ago, right? So about the program, I do hope that when you were introduced to the program by your local coordinators at your universities, you were told everything about it. So I will repeat that now, but I do hope this is a repetition, not the new information. So the program for you, for full participants, consists of 2 academies. So this is the first of your trips here, and there will be another in 2027. And there are places here listed that will host the academies in 2027. Nord University in Norway, Open University in UK, Verona University in Italy, Kastamonu, and Ilya State University in Georgia. So you will be assigned to one of those 5 places to spend probably spring week in 2027. They are scheduled somewhere in between February and May. We will let you know in advance, more in advance than this one, about the dates and the particular academy that you are assigned to. We will obviously take into consideration your availability as well, whenever is possible. In between that, you will spend 15 months within your peer mentoring groups. The introduction into peer mentoring groups will be done in a moment. And this will be your place for structured online collaboration. You will receive your mentors. The mentor assignment was actually finished this morning by our colleagues, so it's a matter of hours or days mostly that you will receive the information about your mentors for sure this week. And you will work with mostly with your peers. The mentors are only there to help and facilitate on the research proposal. About that in a second. You will also have access, and we encourage you to log in already as soon as possible. We hope that you already participated in some of those courses that were there available before the academies. So we'll have access to all those training resources. You have them, the screenshot there on the left, on the right, on the side. There are some courses already available. Some of those will be online shortly. You can do them in any particular order. You can redo them. You can come back to them. You can read those resources over and over if you want to. You can use them in your work. This is all free for you to use. So our aim is for a mix of training and practice. So we try to force you to learn by doing something in teams, in groups, but at the same time we are trying to provide a structure that would help you with that. And the core task is the preparation of your trips, so transformative research and innovation proposals. So say like fictional, ideal proposals, research proposals, team-based proposal for a project, a research and innovation project based on the EU template, EU-style proposal template that we provide to you. The point is not in a perfect bit, but in practicing those skills that are necessary for the preparation of a good application. We will have a nice panel discussion, I think tomorrow, about international proposals. So we will discuss that with some very experienced people from JYU as well here. But yeah, this is the process that should mostly not only result in something interesting in terms of proposal, but also strengthen your skills in proposal writing, but also in collaboration and teamwork and so on. Here is the photo is the hotel in Budapest when I was participating in my first collaborative proposal writing of international project, Horizon 2020 then. It was 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago already. And you know, there was no, I guess the Teams was not there, the Skype was there, or emails, but to have a meaningful writing experience and the co-creation of a proposal that we aimed for And the Hungarian Academy of Sciences had to actually bring us all into Budapest in very cold January as well. Sit us in one room for a week, and we were just developing the proposal day after day after day for a week. So kind of like you will be doing here. This was my first and only experience of that kind, because then a couple of years later, when I had another opportunity, the online resources were already such developed that it was much easier, and nobody wanted to pay for people to come actually in person. But I believe that we wrote a really good proposal back then because we were able to reflect on that in person, in one room, kind of like a jury locked into one room until we formulate something that we can all agree on, right? So it was very much like 12 Angry Men, but with a very good result. Yeah, we passed the threshold. We didn't get funding. Traditional experience, like classic experience. The last slide I have here is about our. If you read the title of our project, it is. I understand that you may not understand that because the eco outwards part is a little bit confusing. But I guess the main idea was already expressed in between the lines of what I was saying. As I mentioned here, and a lot of times before when I was talking about my experience and so on, research research is conducted within a very particular social setting, an institutional setting, kind of an ecosystem of your national academia, international academia, European academia. And then it is quite easy to say lose the grasp of the reality and create research proposals and to make research that is only facing inside of those ecosystems. So this is only relevant as long as we look from the inside of the academia. And this is not what we are aiming for in the METEOR project. We are aiming to encourage you to do work from within the academia while connecting outwards. So collaborating across the roles and sectors, communicating beyond your niche. You will find your groups to be very much differentiated in terms of your backgrounds. And that would be a challenge for you to try to resolve those differences and to try to build on your strengths in creating a strong proposal. And designing work with the impact pathways and not only publications. So we will see in year and a half whether we succeed in that, but I will leave you with that general thought for now. So thank you very much for your attention. That would be all, and most importantly, have fun at the Academy.